everyone, Tim the Collect Jurassic, back with another Jurassic World toy unboxing. It has been quite a long time since I've done one of these, but we finally have some new figures to talk about, and that's Jurassic World Epic Evolution. If you've tuned into my channel recently, you've seen a couple news videos announcing some of these toys, but now I actually have my first one in hand. This is the Strike Attack. I hope I'm saying this right. Strike Attack Guaibasaurus, Guaibasaurus, whatever it is. It's a new figure from Mattel, all new species, not a repaint or any kind of like retooled figure. This is a brand new figure, part of the Epic Evolution line, which is technically the 2024 Jurassic World toy theme, but the figures are already starting to hit here in October, and there's even more on the way. So if you like this review, please remember to subscribe to Collect Jurassic, because there'll be even more of these reviews down the pipe for some other new figures coming out in the Strike Attack line in the next few weeks. But let's go ahead and talk about Guaibasaurus or Guaibasaurus, however you want to say it, right here sitting in front of us in this awesome new Jurassic World Epic Evolution packaging. This is the first time in the channel I'm actually able to look at this packaging in hand. It's pretty cool. It's got this big Jurassic World Rex logo, the classic Rex logo here in the corner. It's really nice background. It's kind of like a sunrise over a mountain range. Very cool naturalistic environment. Then we have this cool typography treatment for Jurassic World. We're used to seeing that locked up in that classic logo, but they've broken out the Jurassic World down here and the T-Rex symbol right there. They're probably just going just for this symbol from here on out, trying to kind of capitalize on that icon of the franchise. And we also have the Epic Evolution logo here with the little like rotating cycle for the O in evolution, kind of playing into the rotating action feature that some of the bigger figures have. And then of course we just have the name of the figure itself. On the sides, some warning signs, Jurassic World logo, classic logo there. Then here on the back we have sort of a illustration of how the Guaibasaurus's strike attack works. Chomping action, it says. Also mentions the scan code that we'll have on this figure that I'll definitely be showing. Then the other figures in this wave, this first wave of strike attacks, we have Velociraptor, which is actually a re-release of a Legacy Collection Raptor. And then we have these two as well. I don't know this one's name off the top of my head, but I know that's Carpasuchus. Definitely a figure I'm looking forward to and hoping to get in my hands here pretty soon. But let's go ahead and get this figure out of the box and take a closer look. Maybe do a couple comparisons too. So got my handy dandy clippers here. We'll go ahead and clip it out there. And then, oh, looks like it's got one more piece of plastic back there on the feet. So we'll cut that off too. And we'll pull the figure out, and there is Guaibasaurus in hand. It actually feels a little bit smaller and dainty out of the box here now. But the first thing I noticed picking it up is that it's got a really cool coloration, simple paint job, but they actually did a pretty good job blending it through the entire body. And how they do that? Well, we have this really dark plastic for the head, right? That looks really nice. That extends into the neck. You can see it kind of blending into the neck. And then it comes back on the legs, which themselves blend into that sort of greenish body on both sides with that sort of pattern on the legs. So really cool. Then you have this highlight of a brighter sort of cream color that's makes the bottom of the jaw is cast in that color plastic, but it's blended throughout the body. So a really nice job sort of blending the colors, not just the paint, but the sculpting itself, right? Like this is actually the sculpted, or the black plastic of the legs, the green plastic of the body, and then again with the black and white plastic of the head. So kind of a cool blending they did there. We see that a lot with Mattel figures, sort of blending that paint and that actual casted plastic, but done really well here for Guaibasaurus. On the articulation front, let's go ahead and talk about that. We do have two hind legs that articulate independently of another. They're sort of on like a ratchet almost. So they don't really have, you can kind of pose it in between the ratchets, but it really wants to kind of snap into that ratchet too. So it almost has like technically like three different levels it can pose at: above, or sort of higher up, and lower down, and in the middle, right? But the legs have a little bit more articulation here, with the arms being able to move, as well as having a little shoulder rotation hinge as well. So those can move up and down, and they're made of a little bit softer plastic, which is I'm kind of surprised by. I'm not used to that. They have they're a little bit bendier than you know, your typical Mattel plastic construction, which is interesting. It's kind of a softer touch. Same with the tail. I don't know how different of a plastic that would be compared to what they usually use, but these arms feel a little bit softer than normal. But yeah, they let you do some nice poses, sort of tacking with his arms open. Pretty much all you can do with that pose, versus sort of like putting it back toward the body or something. Speaking of the body, I really like this sculpted detail of the rib cage right there. I mean, this is a really nice sculpt. Probably, you know, I would take off some points for the head, having those big giant teeth. I'm never a big fan of those big nubby teeth. Really would like to see them tinier and sharper, but everywhere else, it's got really nice sculpting. It does have a little bit of a webbing in the fingers, probably just to keep the integrity of the plastic of each finger, but also has these cool little back claws, which I don't see on a lot of dinosaur figures, these little back hoof claws. So I don't know if that's something unique to what Guaibasaurus, or if that's just a little added detail they decided to take some liberty with. But it's cool. You can kind of see how it's kind of wrapped back like a raptor claw. Nice little detail, again, that I don't see on a lot of the other dinosaur figures. And then, yeah, I was kind of taking you through articulation, but I did want to note that the neck and the mouth, you can see they kind of have a springiness to them. The mouth closes when you go like this. The neck wants to stay up. That's because it's all tied to that strike attack action, which is pretty simple. You pretty much just press on the figure, and he does that chomping action. Just pressing on his legs. Really, really easy to activate, which I liked that. I mean, I know the Dominion dinosaurs, a lot of them had this pretty simple push down and action feature. And it's really, again, really simple to activate, really smooth. Doesn't feel like it's going to break or anything, which I really like that. However, one downside that I have to note is that you do not get independent articulation of the jaw, which is going to make toy photography a little harder with this guy. Same with the neck. So instead of having like a ball joint neck, you have this you know, this neck that's tied directly to the action feature. So definitely a trade-off there. But I mean, this is a toy, and it is, I mean, I collect them, but they're definitely meant to be played with by kids. And there's nothing easier to do that, or no easier way to do that than, you know, just having this really simple, like press down and bite. It's just, it's foolproof. And it's really well integrated versus like a button or something. So that is the strike attack feature on the Guaibasaurus. And another close-up of the head there, have that nice little iris that's sort of like a slit iris with that yellow eye. Looks pretty cool. I gotta say, though, this guy reminds me of a couple other figures that have come before it, right? Like, the first thing that came to mind when I got this one in hand was Moros Intrepidus from the Dominion line. Very similarly sized figures, even. Despite them having a completely different price point. This one's actually cheaper. But they look very similar to me because of those big nubby teeth. I mean, there's only so much you can do to make these carnivores distinct from one another when you give them those nubby teeth. Looks like Moros here needs to do some brushing, though. He's definitely got some yellowing on his teeth, right? But yeah, other than that, I feel like that's a kind of contender for how similar dinosaur could be to Guaibasaurus. We also have this I think, what is this? This is well, I definitely can't think of the name. But it also is from last year's line, the Dino Trackers line. It's got those like nubby feathers on the back. But you can kind of see just sort of a range of different carnivores that Mattel has, and sort of some of the similarities you can start to see in the figure design themselves. Despite them being completely 3 different species and 3 different paint applications, there are some similarities there. I do really like on these simpler figures that ball joint neck that lets you do all kinds of cool poses. Definitely missing that on the on this new one, the Guaibasaurus. And just for comparison's sake of how this carnivore stacks up to like a standard Mattel Raptor figure. This is the Danger Pack Raptor from the last wave of Dino Trackers, and you can see the Raptor actually stands a little bit taller here than Guaibasaurus. So this is definitely a smaller figure, which is surprising based on this figure's, you know, basically $10 to $13 price point. This isn't supposed to be one of the smaller, cheaper figures, but it does command a little bit of a higher price point because it does have that action feature that makes it, you know, cost a little bit more than your standard you know, non-action feature raptor. So, but yeah, that's our first Epic Evolution figure. Again, this is the Guaibasaurus. I got this one from Amazon. I don't know if the link is live right now, but definitely check out my checklist on collectjurassic.com. I have all the toy photos of all the upcoming Epic Evolution figures, as well as store links where you can buy them. I'm always updating it. So if you want to track this down or some of the other figures, definitely check that checklist out. But I'm pretty stoked to have at least one new 2024 Epic Evolution figure in hand, and I cannot wait to get Guaibasaurus and whatever this guy is. I know it starts with a T, but I need it right in front of me if I'm going to make any decent attempt at pronouncing it right. So can't wait to get those two in hand so I can do a review of those as well. So definitely stay tuned. But before I go, I did want to show just a couple more things about this figure. Of course, the scan code. I always forget that. It's right there in the back of the figure. It slides right in. It's pretty low profile, but for the picky people, it's definitely very obvious on the top of the figure. But if you pose it and kind of set it up any other way, it's not going to be an issue. It pops right up, just like that. And then also, one other thing I forgot to mention on the packaging was, even though this isn't, you know, technically the same line as last year's Dino Trackers, it's called Epic Evolution, they are bringing forward that sort of theme where the dinosaurs all live within like a biome. And this looks like a kind of a swamp. You can see it there. It's on the back of the packaging too. So they're still bringing forward that sort of play theme where the dinosaurs are all kind of, you know, hail from a certain locale or a certain habitat or whatever. So interesting concept that I really like the Dino Trackers that they're carrying forward. They're just not really calling it out, obviously, but it's here with the new figures, and we'll see that across all the Epic Evolution figures that'll come this year. And hopefully this review is the first of many. So I do hope you enjoyed my little unboxing of Guaibasaurus here. Again, lots more to come, but I think that's all I got for this one. Again, I'm Tim with Collect Jurassic. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.